Is Star Wars too realistic for you? Then welcome to the Ninth World. Hey guys, Trip here, and this is Welcome To, a show where I introduce you to a series or subgenre you may not know much about. Today we're talking about Numenera, a relatively new science fantasy universe created by award-winning RPG designer Monty Cook. Created in 2013, Numenera is a multiple award-winning series of tabletop RPGs and short stories, with a highly anticipated video game on the way as well. Now this is a first for the show, because I normally talk about things I've known about for a while. I only ever heard of Numenera in passing, and it wasn't until a few weeks ago that I even paid attention to it. But this series is so great and sucked me in so quickly that it immediately became a favorite of mine. If you want to know my ideal fantasy world, then look no further. Numenera takes place on Earth 1 billion years in the future. In that time, thousands of civilizations have risen and fallen. The ruins of intergalactic empires are strewn across the landscape. Ancient machines churn and hum beneath the earth. Marooned aliens, mutant cyborgs, and primitive humans eke out a living amidst the wreckage, and reality itself has begun to break down under the weight of malfunctioning technology. These gadgets, machines, and magical phenomena are collectively known as Numenera. This is a story of mankind's tenacity and endurance, where knowledge is the only true currency. It's an RPG where loot takes on a whole new meaning, where every piece of treasure you find has the potential to advance human society or destroy it. It's a story about looking to the future with the help of the past. The people of Numenera call Earth the Ninth World, as they believe themselves to be the ninth in a series of advanced civilizations. It's inferred that the current world is still relatively young, and mankind is still recovering from the collapse of the previous age as they forge a new one for themselves. Currently, society is on par with that of the Middle Ages, but the world is littered with artifacts, machines, and magical oddities that the people use in their daily lives. The result is a wild, weird, and beautiful universe that's neither fully science nor fantasy. Now, you may have heard of Clarke's third law, that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Well, Numenera was designed from the ground up on this principle. It's not just that science is being used in ways that appear magical, but that the lines have been blurred to the point that any distinction is irrelevant. What's the difference between traditional magic and a cloud of nanobots warping the basic laws of reality? Absolutely nothing. This is the core on which Numenera is built. Traditional fantasy monsters are warped into biomechanical experiments from eons past. Demons and spirits are clouds of sentient nanobots, or humans that ascended to immortality. The internet has become a plane of existence called the datasphere, a chaotic mess of conflicting data and websites from lost civilizations. Wizards are known as nanos and can manipulate nanites in the air that warp reality. It's never completely clear what's science, what's magic, and what's both. Now, being so far in the future causes some potential problems for the setting. I mean, the Earth most likely isn't going to exist in a few million years, not if the sun has anything to say about it. Why do humans still look more or less the same? Why is magic suddenly a thing in the future? I would normally shrug this off by saying a wizard did it, but that doesn't work so well in a world based on our own reality. This all leads me to one of my favorite things about Numenera. The fact that it's so far in the future creates a ton of problems that are immediately solved. Sure, Numenera takes place in a completely unrecognizable future, but hey, it's so far in the future that you'd expect it to be unrecognizable. There could be any number of answers to these questions, potential answers that spark imagination and add to the mystery of the world, and players are encouraged to fill in the blanks with their own speculation. It's also worth noting that the Ninth World is Earth in name only. The previous civilizations have terraformed, repositioned, and modified the planet so much that it's become completely artificial. If you can accept that the Earth as we know it no longer exists, then everything else starts to fall into place. Numenera's art style is a bit hard to describe, so just follow me here for a minute. Imagine if H.R. Geiger went to a sex therapist. Combine that with 70s sci-fi, Mobius, and throw in a healthy dose of hallucinogens. You'll end up with something like this. This is my ideal art style. It's colorful, cluttered in a good way, full of designs and architectural styles that should conflict but instead synergize with one another. There's a lot of organic shapes and biomechanical themes, and every environment is filled to the brim with surreal imagery. Numenera is a setting where any bizarre situation can be justified, and the only limit is your imagination. As I mentioned earlier, society is about on par with medieval times. There are various kingdoms, noble houses, and city-states scattered across the more civilized regions of the world. But Numenera doesn't draw inspiration from any specific medieval culture. For that matter, all traces of modern culture and ethnicity have long since gone extinct. The humans of Numenera look like every race put together, and their architecture follows the same trend, creating a world that looks exotic no matter where you're from. Now this is the part where I'd normally talk about the music, but considering Numenera is primarily a tabletop game, it's a bit hard to find music based on it. So far I've just been playing my usual channel music, but thankfully I've found a few tracks from the upcoming game. The music is composed by Mark Morgan, and just like the rest of the series, it's a fusion of fantasy and science fiction. There's a lot of modern instruments here, synths, piano, bass guitar, and a general sci-fi ambience, but the music is often arranged in a manner you'd expect from a fantasy RPG. It really adds to the atmosphere and makes you feel like you're exploring an alien world. I like it. The tone of Numenera straddles the line between personal and political drama, Lovecraftian horror, post-apocalyptia, futuristic optimism, and lighthearted comedy. It's incredibly difficult to take these disparate themes and combine them into a cohesive whole, but Monty Cook's done it perfectly. The world is so massive and diverse that it lends itself to any scenario you can think of. The Numenera can be a symbol of hope and human progress, but it can quickly become a source of eldritch horror and a symbol of man's hubris. The world of Numenera focuses on the Ninth World, but spans a multiverse full of extra-dimensional demons, Lovecraftian horrors, and curious aliens eager to learn about our world. There are orbs of water floating in space, an extra-dimensional college with secret entrances scattered across the cosmos, a matrix-like web of code surrounding a black hole that contains a virtual paradise for anyone who enters. Numenera is a pretty crazy place with all sorts of diverse and creative ideas. But what binds the series together is the mysterious technology littered across the universe. Technology is the driving force behind the drama, action, horror, and conflict of Numenera. Most technology has long since lost its original function. Most people have no idea what a particular gadget was originally supposed to do, and much of it has developed a mind of its own. Numenera instills a sense of wonder and discovery in the player as they delve into ancient ruins and lost cities in the name of discovery and progress. The variety, creativity, and mystery surrounding the Numenera is the driving force behind the series. Imagine this. You're trudging through a reef of sunken ruins when you come across two glowing diamonds spinning around each other and giggling like children. Rumor has it that they've been doing this for millions of years. No one knows what they want, no one can move them out of the way, but if you stop their spinning, you suddenly grow violently ill. When you leave them alone, they ignore you and go back to their game. Now imagine something just as confusing, fascinating, humorous, and terrifying being a constant part of your daily life. Welcome to the Ninth World. So that's Numenera, a series about the mystery, horror, comedy, pessimism, optimism, and the human drama that unfolds in a whacked-out science fantasy world. I don't think I can adequately describe how much I love this series. The amount of creativity here is mind-boggling, and it sparks the imagination like nothing else. I really want to see where this series goes. This is the sort of franchise that deserves novels, movies, TV shows, multiple video games from different genres. I don't know about you guys, but I would love an open-world sandbox RPG based in the Ninth World. Think about it. If you want to learn more about Numenera, check out the official website. There you can find guidebooks, artwork, and general information on the setting. You should also check out the Ninth World, a database of fan-made content to help you with your tabletop campaign. There's also a video game coming out next year called Tides of Numenera. There's an early access version available, but it's pretty bare bones right now. I'd wait for the full release unless you're really eager to experience this world. I'll leave links to the official site, fan sites, and Steam page in the description below. So what do you guys think about Numenera? What should I talk about next? Let me know in the comments. Hey guys, Trip here. If you liked that video, why not watch some more? Hit that like button and make sure to share this video on social media. If you want more Psychotrip, check out my Patreon. There you can find all of my videos as well as links to articles I've written for Comicsverse. If you like what you see, think about donating $1 or $2. I need that money to buy drugs and hookers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.